Welcome back to Trail Tales. In this video, we're going to show you a beautiful hike we enjoyed while visiting the Portuguese island of Madeira.
Damn, this view is crazy.
If you're into hiking or enjoy the great outdoors, then this video is for you. With this channel, we seek to inspire you by bringing you along on epic hikes we've discovered throughout our travels. These channels are carved into the side of steep cliffs and afford those who walk along them some wonderful views. Our hike today is in Queimadas Forest Park on the northeastern corner of the island. We'd originally only planned to hike to Caldeirão Verde, but upon arriving at the endpoint, we decided to extend the hike to Caldeirão Inferno, which roughly doubled the length of the hike. Stick around to the end to see whether hiking all the way to the Inferno is worth the extra 10 kilometers. Our planned route was an 11.7 kilometer out and back trail. While all trails suggested a lot of elevation gain, it appears that the app gets very confused with the terrain in Madeira. What I can say is the majority of the trail is close to flat. There are a few small staircases between the trailhead and the Caldeirão Verde, but nothing challenging. We started out at the car park at the entrance of Parque Florestal das Queimadas. Parking was very reasonable, just a few euros for the whole day, but the car park was busy, even in the off-season. If you want to do this hike during the peak season, you will need to get there early. The car park also has a cafe, gift shop, and a few animal enclosures with some curious ducks. We set off in good spirits, excited to be on this magical island, thankful to be prepared for the wet and at times muddy conditions. Many of the hikes on Madeira follow the island's network of levadas, or irrigation channels, that offer access to some of Madeira's most breathtaking scenery, including waterfalls, valleys, and panoramic vistas. Ambling along the levadas was very peaceful, as we were followed by the constant sound of running water, and every now and then we'd get a view out over the valley, sometimes seeing all the way down to the sea.
I think there's a waterfall on the trail. Let's
Wow.
see.
We were warned this trail would be a bit wet, so here we go.
It'll be tight, but...
You look like a hunchback now. Are we ready?
Yes.
The reviews said that we would get wet on this trail. I don't think they were lying. There's more. The levadas in Madeira are a unique system of irrigation channels that were originally built to transport water from the wetter regions on the north side of the island to the drier areas on the south side. Construction began in the 16th century, and they have since become an important part of Madeira's infrastructure, providing water for agriculture and hydroelectric power generation. In addition to their practical function, the levadas have also become a popular tourist attraction for visitors to Madeira. The network of channels stretches for over 2,000 kilometers and is accompanied by a system of walking trails that offer breathtaking views of the island's natural beauty. It's getting narrower. After stopping for a moment to admire the grandeur of this waterfall, we entered a tunnel, the first of many on our trail. It's a bit dark. I can't see anything. Since they were originally built for the Levada maintenance workers, without the needs of tourists in mind, these tunnels lack lighting, and they are often very wet inside, with water dripping from the very low ceiling. I had to duck and crouch through most sections of the tunnels to avoid knocking my head. After the first hour of our hike, the number of people heading back to the car park had started to thin, The path is so narrow in places that it can be a challenge to squeeze past oncoming hikers. At peak times, I can imagine this being more of an inconvenience than it was for us. I can see why they call it the Green Cave. It's very green.
That cave was good, but if you're tall, you definitely need to do a lot of ducking. We saw a couple people as they came out, they're like holding their heads like they smacked them on the rocks. You know, if you're my height, it's probably not a problem.
And I knocked my head a little bit, but it could have been much worse. It's pitch black in there. Another waterfall in the path.
Damn, this view is crazy.
Standing up high on the side of a mountain, with steep cliffs falling away below us, was exhilarating. The breathtaking view of the landscape, so easily accessible without the need for a strenuous climb, is so rare. The dense forest, combined with the low-hanging clouds, created a truly unique and enchanting atmosphere. Seems the strategy on this precarious, narrow section when you come across other people is just to try and find a little ledge to stand on, or anything. It really is almost too narrow for just one person. I can't really begin to imagine what it would have taken to construct this irrigation network, let alone the trails that follow them, but I am grateful to those brave souls who built them all those centuries ago. Precarious as it is, the views are incredible. At the 6-kilometer mark, we arrived at Caldeirão Verde, with no water spilling down the top of the cliff. This otherwise beautiful sight was a little underwhelming. For many, this would have been the turnaround point, a total of 12 kilometers round trip. However, we decided to press on, following the signs to Caldeirão do Inferno. This part of the trail is in a much poorer state of repair, with railings missing due to rock slides. Are you ready?
No, but here we go. I'm wet.
God damn. That's kind of sketchy because the railing has fallen down. So, yeah, I can see why people were spooked. The trail to Caldeirão do Inferno was very quiet. We saw only a handful of other hikers for the next few hours. The second part of the trail also has significantly more elevation change compared to the first. We found ourselves climbing and descending a lot of stairs. twisting and turning up this staircase. It's quite tiring. Really haven't done that much elevation gain this whole hike, and it's all come at once. What's going on?
We've kind of come up onto this area where there's a bunch of signs to say no swimming, tunnels going 2 ways, railway tracks. So not only am I out of breath from all those stairs, we're like, what is this? This is not what we expected.
I really don't know what's going on at this point. We can't get any GPS signal. Maps I have don't line up with anything that I'm seeing. So we're a little lost. At the time we weren't sure where we were or what all this was, but it is all part of the Levada irrigation system. We happened upon a couple of maintenance engineers who pointed us in the direction of the Inferno and got us back on track.
Wow, you can see like a gorge out there.
So this thing behind us, this is the Inferno. It was poorly signposted. They kind of lied about the distance it was. And when we got here, it's not a whole lot of water, despite all the other waterfalls being quite wet.
Yeah, we would recommend, like, you could take a gamble if you want to get to this one, but I would say once you get to the gorge, where you're like in between the rocks and there's this bridge, you could probably stop there, turn around.
Yeah, the gorge was good fun. Gorge was cool. But I'm getting quite tired of having to stoop in the dark through ankle-deep puddles to get to places. But yeah, and we've got to scoot back to the start and get back to the car before it gets dark. We've got about 2 hours.
Yeah, let's go. Hustle!
Glad that there aren't too many stairs in this hike, because both of my knees are starting to hurt.
Yeah, it's hard being an old man.
That was uncalled for. Here we go again, back through the big waterfall. I'm soaked. Someone's corrected it. It's 3.8 kilometers. I definitely agree with that. It was not 2.2.
No, I would say maybe even more than that, but yeah.
2 kilometers is definitely optimistic for what that really was.
It was worth it. You just some made up numbers.
Well, that was a long hike.
Yeah. The last like 6 kilometers were quite tiring.
Yeah, a bit of a trudge.
Yeah.
We were just quick marching because we are starting to lose the light.
But this hike, like, it is all about the journey to get there. It's like along the way, you're gonna come across the most like beautiful waterfalls, just like pathways, and then the destination is weather, I guess, season dependent.
Yeah, we got there and both of the grand waterfalls that we were supposed to see were kind of dry. So we're a little disappointed by that, but everything else, like the adventure in the tunnels, like poking in and out of all these different vistas and seeing the tall mountains shrouded in fog and mist, and like walking through waterfalls is fun. There's just water absolutely everywhere. We've separated this one hike into 2 parts. We'll leave it to you to decide which difficulty level you want. The first half of the hike to Caldeirão Verde was 11 kilometers out and back. There wasn't much elevation gain, around 150 meters in total. This should take you between 3 and 4 hours, depending on how busy the trail is. It's an easy hike. The second hike to Calderao do Inferno was 21.8 kilometers out and back. We couldn't measure the precise elevation gain due to the lack of GPS signal, but it felt somewhere between 250 and 450 meters elevation gain in total. We were moving for 5 hours and 20 minutes altogether, and probably spent another 45 minutes stopping to look at waterfalls and fly the drone. This hike was definitely moderate given the length, and we were both aching by the end of it. If you're going to hike either of these trails, be prepared. Bring waterproof clothing, boots and bags, and bring a torch for the tunnels and caves. We weren't really prepared for just how beautiful this hike was. It was the favourite of our 4-day trip to Madeira. If you want to give this hike a go yourself, I'll leave the Alltrails link in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, leaving a thumbs up or a comment. Thank you for watching.